All right, so get ready, everybody, because today we are going deep, deep into a topic that's, well, it's fascinating for sure, but also, I gotta admit, a little bit unsettling
Yeah.
for its cannibalism.
Cannibalism, right?
And before you think we're,
Yeah.
going full horror movie on you, we're
But-
actually going to explore it from all angles.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
taboo, the history, and even the surprising ways that we unknowingly
Yeah.
engage in self-cannibalism every single day.
It's a journey, and I think it takes us from
Yeah.
ancient myths to modern science with some pretty interesting stops along the way.
I love it. So for this deep dive, we've got
Right.
scientific research, cultural anecdotes, even some thought-provoking art, all related to this topic.
It's going to be a wild ride.
So buckle up, everybody. Get ready to explore the unexpected side of what we consume and what it means to be human, right?
Exactly. And, you might be surprised to learn that something as simple as eating your boogers.
Oh.
And, of course, we're talking about doing it with clean fingers, right? Nobody wants to hear about that.
All right. Very good.
This could potentially have immune benefits.
Wait, really? So maybe my mom wasn't totally wrong when she told me to stop picking my nose.
Well, maybe not entirely.
Okay.
Lung specialist Friedrich Bischinger suggests that snot contains helpful enzymes that can actually weaken bacteria.
Okay.
So reintroducing those to your system, theoretically, could help your immune system build up antibodies.
So it's like a DIY vaccine
Right.
from your own nose. Still a bit gross, I gotta be honest.
Definitely.
But fascinating nonetheless. I'll give you that.
It is. Makes you think, is eating something your body produces
Right.
even considered cannibalism?
That's a really good question. It is all part of us in a way, right? Kind of like how everything we eat ultimately becomes part of us, right?
Right.
Speaking of which, did you know
Yeah.
that the average human body is said to contain a whopping 77,000 calories worth of energy?
That's a purely factual point, of course.
Yeah.
But it does highlight the strange contrast between the nutritional potential of human meat and the immense cultural taboo
Right.
surrounding actually consuming it.
Yeah, I mean, for most of us, the idea of eating another human, it's
Yeah.
just instinctively repulsive. We
Yeah.
see each other as beings with dignity, not as a potential meal, right?
Absolutely. However,
Yeah,
history shows us that cannibalism has existed throughout time,
for sure.
and often in extreme circumstances,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
famines,
Right.
where survival cannibalism has been documented.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a testament to how far people will go to survive, right?
Yeah.
But there are also examples of cannibalism that blur the lines between survival art and social commentary.
Artists
Yeah.
Rick Gibson and Marco Evaristi come to mind.
Yeah.
They actually use human tissue in their work,
Wow.
which sparked a huge debate about the ethics
Of course.
and the meaning of art itself.
Right, and then there are even more modern cases.
Oh, yeah.
Like those Dutch TV presenters who legally
Right.
ate pieces of each other's flesh on live television.
The key point there being consent,
Right.
of course.
Yeah.
It raises really complex questions
Totally.
about legality and individual choice,
Absolutely.
especially when you consider cases like the Japanese man who served his own genitals
What?
to consenting diners.
Okay, that's definitely one of the more bizarre cases out there.
Yeah, for sure.
And something we're certainly not endorsing, but
Right.
it does make you think about the nuances of cannibalism in a world where consent and personal freedom are
Absolutely.
constantly being debated.
For sure.
Right.
On a darker note,
Yeah.
we can't ignore cases like Armin Mue's,
Okay.
who engaged in cannibalism without consent, leading to a murder conviction.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, he is now a vegetarian.
Well, that's just
It's a strange twist.
a very strange twist. It's a stark reminder that cannibalism can manifest in truly horrific ways, far removed from any artistic or philosophical justifications. Right.
Sure.
It kind of makes you wonder, though,
What's that?
what does human flesh actually taste like?
Well, there are accounts from people who have, unfortunately,
Yeah.
had to consume it out of necessity,
Right.
but there are also those who sought it out of pure curiosity.
You mean like William Seabrook? He's
Yeah.
the guy who got a hold of some human meat from a hospital in Paris.
Yes, that's him. He carefully prepared and tasted it, describing it as similar to veal.
Really?
He even said, quote, good, fully developed veal, mild, good meat, with no other sharply defined or highly characteristic taste.
So not like chicken then?
Not according to Seabrook.
Okay.
He specifically stated that veal was the closest comparison,
Huh.
even comparing the roast to veal in terms of tenderness.
Interesting. So even when talking about something as taboo as cannibalism, we still try to relate it to familiar tastes.
I guess so.
Yeah, speaking of taste, this whole conversation has got me thinking. How does our sense of taste actually work?
Right.
And what makes us find some things delicious and others completely repulsive?
Yeah, good question. It's important to make a distinction,
Okay.
between taste and flavor.
Gotcha.
Taste is purely chemical, right?
Right.
Happening on your tongue, detecting the basics.
Yeah.
Sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami.
Yeah, like that taste bud map we all saw in elementary school.
Exactly.
But you're saying flavor is something totally different.
Flavor is much richer.
Okay.
It's a combination of that initial taste with the smell, the texture,
Right.
temperature, even things like pain or pungency.
Wow.
It all comes together in your brain to create, this
Yeah.
amazing sensory experience.
So like a spicy chili, it isn't just hot. It's like
Yes.
a complex combination of sensations hitting you all at once.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
And researchers have actually mapped out the flavor compounds in different cuisines
Oh, wow.
to see how they work together. There's a fascinating study where they created something called a flavor network. It shows how ingredients are connected based on the molecules that they share.
A flavor network. So what did they learn from that?
One of the most interesting findings was that North American and Western European cuisines tend to combine ingredients with similar
Right.
or shared flavor compounds.
Okay, so like a classic cheeseburger.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
got the
exactly.
beef, the cheese, the bun.
Yep.
They all kind of have those overlapping flavors.
Right. Those flavors work together to create a harmonious whole.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting is that East Asian cuisines
Uh-huh.
tend to avoid this.
Okay.
They often opt for a much greater diversity of taste experiences in a single dish.
So instead of having ingredients that kind of echo each other, they're going for more of a contrast.
Exactly.
Like a stir fry,
Yeah.
where you might have sweet, sour, salty, and savory all playing off each other.
Perfect example.
Okay.
It really highlights how cultural preferences play a huge role
For sure.
in what we perceive as delicious.
Right.
What we consider authentic is often shaped by the flavor combinations that we've grown up with.
Which kind of makes me think about that thing, where orange juice
Yeah.
tastes awful after you brush your teeth.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a flavor clash.
That's a perfect illustration of how our taste receptors can be totally thrown off.
Yeah.
The culprit there is sodium lauryl sulfate,
Okay.
a common ingredient in toothpaste.
Right.
It basically blocks those sweet signals and cranks up the bitter ones, which is why that orange juice tastes so bad.
So it's not the orange juice changing, it's our perception of it.
Precisely.
Wow.
It's like a temporary glitch
Okay.
in your flavor system.
That's pretty wild. But how does all this talk about flavor and taste connect back to this idea of you are what you eat?
That's where it gets really interesting. Our bodies are in a constant state of renewal, right?
Right.
The food we eat breaks down into its basic elements, and those elements become the building blocks for new cells, tissues, and organs.
So we're literally incorporating the things that we consume into our own bodies.
Yeah.
It's not just a saying, it's actually the reality of how our bodies work.
That's right.
I like it. Think about it this way. Imagine a cat.
Okay, I like cats.
What is a cat made of?
Fur.
Well, air, water, and cat food.
Right.
Those basic ingredients are assembled following the instructions in its DNA to create,
Right.
a living, breathing feline.
That's a strangely cute way to visualize it.
It is, but the same principle applies to us.
Oh.
Everything we take in, from the air we breathe
Yeah.
to the food we eat, contributes to this,
Yeah.
ongoing construction and renewal of ourselves.
So that means that, in a sense, we're all kind of cannibals.
You could say that we're
But-
constantly shedding cells from our
Wow.
skin, our digestive tract, even our mouths.
Yeah.
And guess what? We swallow a lot of that cellular debris.
Okay, that is a little bit gross.
It is.
So I'm essentially eating myself right now.
In a way, yes.
It's estimated that we swallow and digest roughly our own body weight in shed cells every 3 months.
That's a lot of self-consumption.
It is. And it actually relates back to that ancient symbol, the Ouroboros.
Okay.
It depicts a snake eating its own tail, representing this continuous cycle of life, death, and renewal.
Okay.
We are constantly consuming and being consumed, both by the world around us and by ourselves.
Okay, that's getting pretty deep, but I see the connection. It's like we're part of our own internal food chain.
Right.
You mentioned something earlier about a sea squirt.
Ah, yes, the sea squirt.
What's that?
It's a distant relative of ours, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
But what's truly fascinating
Yeah.
is that it undergoes a truly radical transformation.
Okay.
It starts life as this tadpole-like creature, complete with a simple brain.
Okay, sounds pretty normal so far. What's so unusual about it?
Well, once it finds a suitable spot to settle down, it basically becomes a couch potato, attaching itself to one spot.
Okay.
And here's where it gets weird. It literally digests its own brain.
It eats its own brain.
Yes.
Why would it do that?
Efficiency.
Okay.
It no longer needs a complex nervous system for swimming or hunting.
Right.
So it recycles those resources for other bodily functions.
That is quite the life change.
It is.
So we're not the only ones engaging in a bit of self-cannibalism,
Right.
but the sea squirt definitely wins the award for the most extreme example.
Absolutely. It just goes to show the incredible diversity of life on Earth
Yeah.
and the surprising ways that self-consumption plays a role in survival and adaptation.
This deep dive, it's taken us to some
Yeah,
pretty unexpected places, I gotta say.
it has.
From boogers to brains, we've covered a lot of ground today.
It is remarkable how these seemingly unrelated topics like cannibalism,
Right.
flavor science,
Right.
and cellular regeneration are all interconnected.
Yeah, it all circles back to this idea
Yeah,
that we are what we eat, literally and figuratively, right?
absolutely.
We consume, we
Yes.
transform, and we
Definitely.
become...
And that raises some profound questions.
Like what?
If we're constantly incorporating the world around us into our bodies,
Yeah.
what does that say about our connection to nature,
Right.
to other living beings, and to the, very fabric of existence?
You know, it's almost like we're walking ecosystems.
We are.
We carry traces of everything we've ever consumed.
That's
I
right.
never really thought about it like that before.
That's a humbling thought, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It challenges us to really consider our choices.
It does.
The food we eat and our overall impact on the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So next time I'm enjoying a meal,
Yeah.
I think I'll take a moment to really appreciate
Right.
the incredible journey that those ingredients took to become a part of me, you know?
Perhaps you might even pause
Yeah.
before reaching for that second helping.
Yeah, you got a point there. On a more serious note, this deep dive, I think, has really opened my eyes to the interconnectedness of,
Yeah.
well, everything.
It has, and that's the power of knowledge.
Yeah.
To reveal those hidden connections.
Right.
To challenge our assumptions and to inspire a sense of wonder about the world around us.
Well said. And to our listeners, we hope this deep dive sparked your curiosity and left you with some,
Food for thought.
pun intended.
Pun intended. Until next time, keep exploring,
Yes.
keep questioning,
Keep learning.
and keep diving deep into the mysteries of the universe.
I love it. See you everybody next time.